And Mr. Tuttle.
Oh, it's Tuttle.
Tuttle. You know, if you convince me that's not an O, I'll pay you $1.
My name is Brian Tuttle, and I am the owner of Isles of Athena. And I thought I would come down here since all of a sudden I've become this lightning rod to this issue that I keep reading about in the newspaper, and I get reporters calling me at home telling me one thing when another thing is true, and there seems to be just a tremendous amount of disinformation here. So I thought I'd come down here, introduce myself, give you a face that you can now either like or dislike, but at least you'll have that face. Let you know that A, I am a real person. I am taking this project through the DRI process. And I want to clear up some misinformation that I've been hearing floating around. So I figured now would be a great time to do that. The first thing is that property has a city comp plan amendment. It has what I would consider is a crappy one. It has 440 acres of mixed-use activity center along a slough, which would allow me to build 3,000 to 4,000 units. And then it has a designation of 1 unit per 3 acres, which would allow me to build another 1,000 units. So if I do nothing, if there is no comp plan amendment change to that property, I will be able to build 4,400 units on there by right.
Excuse me.
Now,
A question, Commissioner Patterson.
Yeah, could you just tell me what the time frame was that went through the DCA and the RPC?
all I know that it was annexed into the city in the year 2000, and I believe it had the comp plan amendment in 2003. Is that correct, Mr. Jones? Yes, that's correct. Now, I am trying to come up with a better plan. I am working the DRI process, which is a state-implemented process for large developments of regional impact. This is not a process that Brian Tuttle came up with, and it's not a process the city of Northport came up with. This is a process came up with by the state that all large regional impact projects go through. I signed up for that. That process will cost me approximately $3 million. That's okay. I will go through the process. I will answer the questions. I will do what's right. What bothers me, here are some of the things that bother me. Number one, I hear lots of comments from the Sarasota County Commission about this project. Not once have you sent someone to a meeting. Not once have you made comments on the DRI. Not once have we gotten any input from you. All I read is what I see in the newspaper. That bothers me. Number two, this is a process that I have rights on. You know, I'm an everyday citizen like you are, and you have to make sure that your goals don't trample my rights. The goals of making an agreement with the city for a 6-month postponement, you and the city cannot make an agreement that gives away my rights to a DRI review. That's illegal. You cannot do that. Now, I don't believe my process will be out in the next 6 months. And I'm working with the city, and I'll work with you guys. I'm working with the Regional Planning Council. I'm working with Charlotte. I'm working with DeSoto. We'll work with anybody. We want to take a project that has 900 acres of preserve, increase it to 2,400 acres of preserve. We want to move the density around. We want to put in an interchange, and we want to make it a better place for the city. We want to make sure there's no impact to the city, no impact to the county, which means we'll have to pay a lot of money. We understand that. We're willing to do that. We're willing to work through the process. But I just wanted to come down here and talk to you guys about this to make sure that you had a face to the project, you knew the project was real. And it's not a matter of 5,700 acres that's going to be a preserve for the city. For the county. Them days are gone. I bought that property. It's either going to have 4,400 units on it in a terrible site plan, or it will have a better project that we can all work out together. But it's not going to go back to the other days, because that day was 10 years ago, and you didn't have the money, and it's gone. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I want to make sure we understand it. I have one other question.
Time has expired, but
can I ask the county attorney a question? And there seems to be some, I don't understand. as I read your amendment, all lands with a previous comp plan amendment are exempt. So even if you put this on the ballot, and even if the voters pass it, it absolutely has no effect to the Isles of Athena. So isn't the goal to work with us and make improvements to the Isles of Athena? I don't understand where you're going with it then.
I'll tell you, why don't we do this? We'll let him, that's a question he can answer to you, so I think, why don't you just maybe gather over there, and maybe he can help you. We need to, I got about 50 cards to go.
I want to comment.
Okay, he wants to, board wants to hear it.
I don't want him to comment. I don't think that's appropriate, but we don't have direct.
He's our attorney.
He's our attorney.
I understand.
Here's the deal. The deal is, you're right, it won't affect your property because it's not retroactive and you have a comp plan designation. That's it. And in the agreement that has been offered to us from Northport, it did not take any of your rights away. It just said that it was going to be processed. They'd give us all the information, copies of future correspondence, blah, blah, blah.
Thank you,
Didn't
and
take
I
any of your rights away.
encourage you to assign a member of Sarasota County Planning Department to come down and work with us and give us input on our project. We'd love to have it.
That's up to Mr. Lane.
Commissioner Patterson, Commissioner Mercier.
I've read all kinds of things about your plans in the newspaper. You know, like you, our information has come from that source. How many units are you actually planning in your application at the moment?
As it stands today, we are planning approximately 12,000 units, which by right we have 4,500. So by giving much more land to the preserve area, we are hoping to get more units back.
Okay, and we've been working for a number of years to try to get an interchange at Central Sarasota Parkway, and there really is no money at the DOT to do that. How are we going to make that happen?
How we are going to make it happen is I'm going to sign an agreement that says I'm going to pay the $50 million for the interchange out of my pocket. And to entice DOT to take traffic off Kings Highway, we are going to make a connector road through my project into DeSoto County to help the whole regional traffic issue. We're also going to build a water and sewer treatment plant what the city needs. My project provides 13,000 jobs for the city of Northport and $400 million in the FIAM report. My project, to the good, $400 million. So it's the city's goal to make sure it pays for itself, but also to help pay for some of the city's problems with respect to water, sewer, and roads. We have to put in all of our own wells. We're not going to come to you and say we want water from the city of Peace River. We're going to put in our own wells. So my encouragement is that we get some dialogue going to work out these issues.
Commissioner Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Tuttle. Mr. Chairman, rather. Mr. Tuttle, you know, my problem with wells is everybody has a straw in the ground. We need to do better than wells. But that aside, that's your project. My biggest criticism of Isles of Athena, and it's not, as they say on Seinfeld, it's not you, it's us. The Florida Department of Transportation has not been proactive. Right now, we have 2 roads to go north-south. If anybody from Northport, I'll pick on Northport, wants to go to Disney World, how do they get there? They've got to go up 75. At some point, and you're right where 75 goes east-west, okay, it would be my hope that the Southwest Regional Planning Council, and it's not time for us to chime in from what I understand on your DRI, is to have a road, and you've kind of mentioned it, to go to DeSoto County. We need a grid system. We are dead in South Sarasota County because we don't have a grid system. We have 41 and 75. You put an interchange there. Where's the new north-south road? It's still 75-41. Where's the east-west road? We don't have one. It might be Toledo Blade, but the city said no, it isn't. Now you're telling me you're going to hook up to DeSoto County. I think it's great, but it's got to be more than a hookup. It's got to be a conveyance that when people want to go north, they don't have to go up 75. They can go down